Meet the M1128 Striker, the 105mm mobile gun that everyone hates. In the 1990s, the U.S. Army realized it had a problem. The solution to that problem was, in part, a wheeled armored vehicle that almost everyone seems to hate, and which is quietly fading away after just a few years in frontline service. Years after Desert Storm, the Army concluded that its light airborne forces were quick-reacting but lacked firepower. By contrast, armored and mechanized units with their heavy tanks and fighting vehicles possessed the firepower the paratroopers lacked, but owing to their sheer mass and complexity, the heavy units could take weeks to deploy to a war zone. The Army wanted forces that combined some of the airborne troops' nimbleness with the elements of the armored forces' fighting strength. The result is the Stryker Brigade, a relatively new kind of formation riding in 8-wheeled medium armored vehicles. The General Dynamics built Stryker weighs just 20 tons, compared to 70 tons for an M1 tank, but the reduced weight comes at a cost. The $5 million apiece Strykers have thinner armor and smaller weapons than a tank. The mobile gun system is, in essence, a medium tank, albeit with wheels instead of tracks. The 8-wheeled Stryker configuration carries a General Dynamics 105mm tank cannon and a low-profile, fully stabilized shoot-on-the-move turret. Its armor protects the 3-soldier crew from machine gun bullets, mortar, and artillery fragments on the battlefield. The 8-wheeled Stryker can fire 18 rounds of 105mm main gun ammunition, 400 rounds of 50 caliber ammunition. It operates with the latest command, control, communications, computers intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance C4ISR equipment, as well as detectors for nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. The M11 Stryker, like the whole Stryker concept, is a compromise between competing demands. All the Stryker vehicles, there are many variants, have their critics. The Israeli army evaluated the Stryker and declared it a piece of junk. The 8-wheeled mobile gun is easily the most controversial and least loved. The Stryker mobile gun design crams a lot of equipment into a small space, and as a result, it's crowded for its 3-person crew. The hatches are too small for crew members to quickly escape in the event of a fire, and the overstuffed M1128 Stryker lacks air conditioning. In Iraq, the 150-degree heat forced the Army to quickly outfit gun Stryker operators with special cooling vests. All Stryker mobile gun platforms have since been upgraded with AC units. Moreover, the main gun fits inside a pod that rests atop the Stryker's hull. To save weight, the pod is unarmored. The gun pod can be easily disabled, the military's testing agency reported. No mobile gun can expect to last long in a sustained firefight against a determined foe. The Stryker was never meant to be a tank like the M1, but it could find itself doing battle with enemy tanks. The primary weapon systems are designed to be effective against a range of threats up to T-62 tanks, the test agency claimed. The Russian T-62 dates to the 1960s. Going up against more modern tanks, T-72s and later, the M1128 Stryker would probably lose. Like the Marine Corps' failed expeditionary fighting vehicle, the gun Stryker occupies a middle ground between contradictory requirements, basically weight versus firepower. As a consequence, it's not particularly good at anything. The Army knows it. After buying just 142 Stryker, the branch quietly shut down production. The Army plans to upgrade thousands of other Strykers with new, angled bottom holes to better protect them against roadside bombs, but not the M1128 Stryker. Tacitly admitting that the gun Stryker doesn't work, the Army's cutting the number of Stryker mobile guns in each of its 9 Stryker brigades to just 10 vehicles. In their place, the Army wants to add 30mm cannons to some infantry carrier Strykers, replacing the vehicle's smaller 50 caliber guns. A 30mm cannon has even less chance of defeating a tank than the Stryker's 105mm main gun does, but the new cannon will be smaller and lighter, hopefully helping to avoid the mobile gun system's worst problems. We need the right combination of mobility protection and firepower, Major General H.R. McMaster said, and so the Army's search continues for a medium-weight tank for its medium-weight brigades. Retirement. The U.S. Army is scrapping its Stryker mobile gun systems in favor of new lethality upgrades for its fleet of combat vehicles, the service announced in a May 12 statement. The service said in a news release it's decided the time has come to retire the M1128 Stryker after a study showed it's obsolete and its out-of-date cannon and automatic loader have systemic issues. Decisions on when it's best to divest a system currently in the force are not taken lightly, Lieutenant General James Pasquarette, the Army's Deputy Chief of Staff for Programs, said in the release. The Army has done its due diligence to ensure lethality upgrades will remain intact, provide our Stryker formations the capabilities they need in the future. The Army will now focus on upgraded lethality efforts, according to the statement, such as the medium-caliber weapon system, the Common Remotely Operated Weapon Station Javelin, anti-tank guided missile updates, and the 30mm cannon, because they can provide better distributed capability than the limited number of M1128 Strykers, the Army stated. All of these enhancements have been developed and funded and are ready to be fielded, it added. The divestiture of the Stryker poses no impact to the industrial base, as the system has been out of production for some time, and the majority of the sustainment supply chain for the Stryker mobile gun system is included in other variants of the current Stryker fleet. Various other Stryker platforms, including the double V-hull, will continue to be supported, the Army said. In recent years, the Army has upgraded Stryker systems with more powerful weapon systems designed partly in response to concerns about a more aggressive Russia. In April, the Germany-based 5th Battalion, 4th Air Defense Artillery Regiment was the first to field a new mobile air defense system that helps defend against threats while soldiers are on the move. The unit will use the Maneuver Short-Range Air Defense System, known as M-SHORAD, mounted on its Stryker A1 vehicles. Future variants of the system will include other kinetic interceptors and a directed energy capability that will not only defend against unmanned aerial system and manned aircraft, but also rockets, artillery, and mortars. The Army has awarded a contract each to Northrop Grumman and Raytheon to build a 50-kilowatt class laser system for Stryker combat vehicles for the SHORAD mission. Given concerns about M1128 Stryker vulnerabilities, Army officials decided it was time to invest in other modernization efforts to improve the rest of its Stryker fleet.